Hi everyone, welcome back for yet another video. Last week you could see that we rejoined the goal making community after a break of 3 or 4 months. If you missed that video, you can see it in the end title screen of this video. Now, this video is going to give you insight on how to pick up on goal making in patch 8.2 if you just recently joined the game, or it's going to give you some perspectives from stuff we do. Maybe you can get some ideas, get your goal game up the same way that we do. But first of all, if you rejoined the game after a break, or you just simply new, you run into some problems at this point. The first point is everyone can fly. Yeah, we can't fly, so everyone can fly. So anyone who is dependent on mining and herbalism to find ores and herbs is going to have a harder time than when everyone has to walk like you do, has to run around with their mount. Now, also, you're gonna be much quicker towards world quests, completing world quests, just random quests to get your chores done before you can actually start goal making, because some of your chores need to be done before you can actually start. Now, flying is not the only reputation issue for the two new factions. It's also involving professions, and also the ranks of those professions, and those new recipes and crafting plans and stuff like that. So you need to have your reputation up in order to compete with the market that is already established. Now, we don't have gold to invest. That's the third problem. We don't have gold to invest, so we can't use gold to flip. So we can go out and go to the auction house and say, okay, I'm gonna craft X amount of items of that new thing that I just learned and get it over with and start making gold. No, you're gonna have to farm. You're gonna have to collect stuff, or you're gonna have to make sure you make sales and before you can actually start investing that gold. So the fourth problem is actually building up your stock. So you're gonna have to farm all that stuff. You can't go out and buy everything. So you're gonna build up stock and also build up stuff you are making. You're gonna have to have a guild bank full with stuff that you can actually repost as soon as it's sold. You're not going to do that for everything, but at a certain point. And then problem 5, that's the last problem before we're gonna jump into focus points, is the order in which ways to expand your markets. What will be your goal? Where you're gonna start, and what is your end goal? So from there on, we're gonna start with the actual video and the focus points, and let's see what we can learn today. So now the focus points, step 1 will be gaining the new reputations in order to be able to fly, to compete with the first problem we had. Everyone can fly, so they're finishing their world quests much faster, have more time to invest their time in goal making, and also they are able to gather stuff much quicker than we can, and new players can. So the good thing with Najatar is you're gonna get a lot of pearls, which means you're gonna get a lot of bente gear, which you can send through to your alts as soon as the main one is ready. I'm lucky my main characters and 2 others were well geared enough to already go into Najatar and Metronome. So the bente gear is going to alts in order to make sure they are viable to enter the new zone, to do some DPS, to get stuff done, because if you can't kill stuff, you're going nowhere. So it's not only for the flying. Then also, step 2, reputation. You need the reputations for the ranks, and also if you are new or you neglected the reputations of the older factions as well, you're gonna need those in order to compete with the market, because you're gonna have to have ranks at rank 3 in order to compete, because you're gonna need fewer materials to make an item, which means you're gonna make more profit, or you're gonna make profit because some markets are so saturated. If you are crafting at rank 1, you're gonna have to sell items with a loss. So you're not gonna make profit. And so you also have to pay attention to rank world quests, especially in Zandalar and Kultiras, for older professions or the things from prior to patch 8.2 to get the rank trees. Those sometimes come in world quests. So step 3 will be start crafting other professions with what you have. If you can make something that you picked up during world questing or completing the normal quest line or exploring stuff, if you have crafting materials, don't immediately go over to selling those. You need to stock up and send them through to alts with those professions. Craft something that you can. The more you have on the auction house, the more you're gonna have to sell. If you focus on one profession or on a few certain items, you're gonna have a lot less potential gold making. You're gonna have to expand the markets that you're working with. So what we did, first of all, we started with skinning. You don't need flying to gather materials, and we didn't have the gold to invest. So what we did, we went out, started skinning like coarse leather and stuff. Shimmer scale is not so easy as with coarse leather. So we started farming coarse leather, started crafting all those items, and what we also did was crafted the leather bracers, sent the blue ones through to an enchanter to get gloom dust and what's the other one called, umbra shards, and the green ones we scrap for expulsum. And you can do that on you can send those through to other characters that have professions. Grab those, get expulsum on those characters. So skinning is good because it doesn't really require you to fly. So we started doing crafting all of the armor. So what we did, we crafted stuff with what we had. We focused on skinning. We went out, crafted all the armor from leatherworking that we were capable of crafting, and then do the leather racers to get expulsums and to disenchant. So that brings us easily to another profession that we started doing, was enchanting. You're gonna make those enchants if you have a lot of umbra shards. You can try to sell those, but make sure you have some enchants available, because you are going to provide materials for your competition if you're going to sell gloom dust, umbra shards, and veiled crystals. So another important thing that you need to do is scan the auction house. Scan the auction house for materials. You have people that have a second account and scan the auction house continuously. Now, not everyone has that luxury or the time to do that. So what you could do, if you start the game, go to the auction house, scan the materials you need, pick up the cheap ones that are underpriced, of course, not the one overpriced, and do the same before you close down. So take 15 minutes or 20 minutes if you start, and do the same before you log off and go to bed or do whatever stuff you were planning to do else. Just make sure you scan the auction house on a regular basis, just for cheap mats, especially before around 11 o'clock EU time. We see, if we log off and we go to the auction house a bit before we log off, you see a lot of people dumping their stuff on the auction house, and that's something you have to take advantage of course. So the next step, except for making just expulsum, you could do that on demand of your sales. So the more you sell, okay, I'm gonna send through a few bracers and get some expulsum. What you could also do is start making the leather bracers on a regular basis. Some people use the tailoring flip to make bracers with linen cloth, and do the same thing. Send the blues to disenchant and scrap the green ones to get expulsum. If you do it from skinning, there's no gold to invest, so it just requires you a little bit of time, but The principle is the same. Just do it on a regular basis. Stock up on that explosive until you need it. If you have like, I think leatherworking now. I don't have all rank 3s. It requires me between 70 and 80 explosives to make everything. So the first time, yeah, it's a bitch. You're gonna have to make a lot of explosive. You're gonna have to craft a lot of materials, and then you're just going to craft everything you sell. But if you sell everything rather quickly, you're gonna need a lot of explosive in a very short time. So if you do this frequently and build up your explosive, like say 100 explosives on every character that has a profession, of course, you are going to stock on your explosives, so you don't really need the time investing anymore. You're still gonna loot gear. You can scrap those, and you have a chance of getting explosive from those items as well. And after that is done, what we are going to do is focus on consistent markets. You have the food market, but also you have the old ore market, and there's also side mats. So for food, there's a lot of raiders out there. A lot of people doing Mythic Plus. They are on demand. The demand is high for quality food. So as soon as you can make those high-end foods, go ahead, go make them. But there's also other foods. A lot of farmers still use bear tartare from Legion. Make sure you get that one. Craft it. It still brings in a nice amount of gold. Now, for old ore, there's still people out there making sky golems, so they need ghost iron ore, or if you have an alchemist, you can make living steel, sell living steel. It doesn't require you to do a lot. The first time you're gonna have to go out and farm a few stacks of ghost iron ore, and if the transition from ghost iron to living steel, if you're going to transmute those, and there's a lot of gold to be gained in that transmute process. So if the profit is high enough, you can also buy the ghost iron ore and just do your cooldown for living steel on a daily basis. Doesn't require you to go out and farm what is it, Spirit of Harmony, and do the one you can continuously do. If you do Spirit of Harmony, I don't know it by head. How's it called? Maybe it will come into pass with another video. That was old ore, maybe even Titan steel, corium ore. Some servers are still in demand for those items, especially with transmog farmers and people making like mounts, stuff like that. Then 11.11, I didn't sum it up in between, but we had about 11 points and probably came in a few on the pass. With me rambling a little bit, it will be tailoring. I also focus on older bags like the Mount Hijal or the Hijal Expedition bag, which requires you 40 volatile lives, and also the old shirts for people who are shirt collectors. For the achievement is there. I don't know how's it called, but it requires you to have like 50 shirts or something. Fashionista. But I also forgot a point. I wrote it down, but I'm rambling so fast. I'm not really reading. Another one for the consistent markets, because the Spirit of Harmony came into pass, is motes and primals are still required for a lot of transmog items and mounts. You have the volatiles, which is fire, water, life, earth. I think there's even a wind one. Yeah, and then the harmony ones. You can farm those still sell. Sometimes it's easy to dominate a market as such. Buy everything cheap, put it up for the right price in nice stack sizes, like stack sizes of 10, 20, 50, even sometimes 200 depending on the item. You can get a lot of stuff like that. So that's a few things that we are focusing on before expanding everything until we have like everything covered, especially for BFA. The thing that came in today extra with the missus going out skinning for dredge leather was her idea, because in combination with skinning, think leatherworking and blacksmithing. You can make a lot of gear on weapons, but also the dredged leather mount equipment to make sure people can water walk. And what she also does is scan for cheap flowers to push up alchemy a little bit more. And then in between, if we are done with our reputation chores on the main characters in order to let everyone fly, yeah, we farm a little bit as well. So flowers or skinning cloth is much harder to farm, but we usually end up buying that stuff if it's cheap on the auction house, and then just do that on a regular basis. Even if you don't need it, stock it up for the guild bank. And that's about it. Gonna get much more updates. My TSM group is expanding again, like always. If that is done, you're gonna see a lot more videos, maybe something special about one of the groups or one of the professions. If it ends up being a good moneymaker, we're gonna do a video about that. If some of the farming spots will end up being good, we're gonna do a video about that. Yeah, and I will keep you updated. We can do a video about that. And everything you ask, we can do a video about that if the topic is right. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to put it down the video into the comment section. Please, just don't forget to leave a like. If this video was helpful, you can subscribe if you want to. Should be surely appreciated. Wait, a thumbs up a little bit higher. And I will see you in the next video. And don't forget, the video from last week is in the ending screen. You can click that one, and I hope to see you again for our next video. So see you soon, and happy gold hunting.